confirmed that the Sierra Leone police have arrested 3 people, a Liberian, a Guinean, and a Lebanese national, following a request from the Liberian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Now, a statement they issued does not state exactly where in the country the 3 are being held. However, it does say that the 3 men will be handed over to the Liberian authorities who have formally requested for their extradition, but does not state when that will happen. The statement, which seems quite carefully worded, does not give much detail, and neither the police nor the Office for National Security or even the Ministry of Information would put themselves forward for an interview to be able to extrapolate on these issues.
Now, I mentioned in my introduction, Umaru, that they basically blundered into the hands of the authorities in Sierra Leone. Do we know the circumstances of their apprehension?
Well, the statement does not say, but some senior police officers I have been speaking to, some of them deployed in the area where the men were arrested, say that the 3 were nabbed at Zimi in the southern Pujahon district, which borders Liberia, after they had made it across the frontier. One of my sources says that when the men made it across, there had been no alert issued from Liberia, but once that came through, the Sierra Leone police alerted all the checkpoints between the border and the capital, Freetown, which was how they were eventually arrested at Zimi. We don't know whether the Lebanese national had a visa to enter Sierra Leone, with the Guinean and Liberian passport holders not requiring that, or whether, in fact, any of these people were ordinary residents in Sierra Leone. There are so many things that are yet unclear, with apparently nobody willing to front the microphone.
And Umaru, I mean, there's also been a story, of course, lingering for years, that West Africa has been a transit point, one of the major transit points for drugs en route to Latin America and the Americas. How does Sierra Leone fit into that situation?
Well, Sierra Leone used to have a serious issue with narcotics up to 2018, or at least it came to the fore then, when a plane loaded with something like 600 kilograms of cocaine, I believe, with a street value then of about $50 million, was seized at the international airport after it had landed there unauthorized, in a dramatic incident then he saw, that looked like a scene from a Hollywood movie. 8 or possibly 9 South Americans from Colombia, Venezuela, and Mexico disembarked and boarded waiting vehicles, which tore through the perimeter fence and sped off to remote areas of northern Sierra Leone. They and the Sierra Leonean collaborators, were later arrested, tried, and convicted with support from Britain's Special Organized Crime Agency. The South Americans were later taken to the United States. But since then, we do not know the full extent of the narcotics business in Sierra Leone, but in August this year, 5 Sierra Leoneans were arrested in Guinea on allegations of cocaine trafficking after the substance was allegedly found on them on board a vessel. And in July again this year, there were allegations here that a shipping container with cocaine was picked up from the Freetown port by some police officers. The container's content was unloaded in public view and said to be containing only frozen food. Days later, or about a week or so thereabouts, the head of the police was sacked, and some senior security officers at the presidency, including the chief security officer and the ADC, were also transferred elsewhere. And there were speculations that the two were related. We don't know the extent or the veracity of the container containing cocaine.
Umaru Fofana, live for us in the Sierra Leonean capital of Freetown. Many thanks indeed. Now,